The winemaking has to start in the vineyard.
Less is more. You don't have to manipulate this product. It made itself in the back of some cave 5,000 years ago. It's going to continue to make itself.
Every year, Mother Nature treats the vines and myself differently. And so as we start to see the grapes ripen, and Heather and I go out every 2 or 3 mornings a week and start tasting the grapes, when we start seeing some color development and flavor development, then we start to get really, really excited.
So as far as the process goes, once we have pure wine in the tank after pressing, we've got the free run combined with the press wine. It's about 90% free run and about 10% press wine. And we've inoculated for malolactic. It's completed that secondary fermentation. I will add sulfur dioxide, which is our preservative, to clean the wine from any residual bacteria and to just stop everything from happening. At that point, really is a wine. And then it can be brought into the barrel room. And so we literally pump it down here, and we take a whole day to empty the previous vintage, or a couple of days, empty the previous vintage from here, and then take all the barrels outside and wash them, and then return them to this room in the order and the configuration that makes the most sense for the different wines that we're filling. It's usually 2 tiers of Zinfandel and then sometimes wine club wine. And so David, I basically asked David to be the one to determine which barrels go where, because the brand new barrels and the cooperage that made them in the forest they came from are important, but then the second year barrels also contribute a fair amount of oak to the wine. So we take that into consideration as well. And we do want to differentiate between the 2 styles of Zinfandels. They come from different blocks of grapes between our ZinStar and Citizen. So, they are naturally different wines, but we like to honor that and allow them to be different from each other. And then we just come in and just fill the wines, leave the sediment behind, not introduce too much sediment to these barrels so that they can stay nice and clean from year to year. And based on the 25 to 30% target of new oak, we're using these barrels generally for about 5 to 6 years. And then they'll be sold off to other wine producers or as planters or whatever people find them useful for.
The barrel, each harvest that we use it is kind of like a tea bag. The more you use it, the weaker the contribution of the oak. So eventually it can function as an aging vessel, but it's not going to contribute anything from the forest or from the oak. So this is really, this is where you're really framing the personality of the vineyard. And our wines, we do not want the oak to dominate the vineyard. We really want the oak to work in harmony with the personality of the ZinStar vineyard. Because again, she's so delicate and almost feminine in her personality. It's really easy to overwhelm that with too much oak.